Hello students, today we are looking at polygon. A polygon is a plane figure with 3 or more sides. So you realize that what? A triangle is a polygon, a quadrilateral is a polygon, it has 4 sides. We have pentagon which has 5 sides, hexagon has 6 sides, heptagon has 7 sides, octagon has 8 sides, nonagon has 9 sides, decagon has 10 sides. Any plane figure that is bounded by 3 or more sides is known as a polygon. There is a general formula for looking for the sum of angles in a polygon. So the general formula for looking for the sum of angles in a polygon is n minus 2 into bracket 180. N minus 2 times 180, where n represents the number of sides of the polygon. N represents the number of sides of the polygon. Now, let's look at this first example. Find the sum of angles in an octagon. Find the sum of angles in an octagon. Octagon has 8 sides. Then, what is the sum of angles in an 8-sided plane figure? Find the sum of angles in an octagon. So we are going to use the formula of the sum of angles in a polygon, which is n minus 2 into bracket 180. So sum of the angles in a polygon is n minus 2 into bracket 180. In an octagon, we have 8 sides. So that means n, the value for n will be what? 8. So we are going to substitute 8 in place of n. So you now say 8 minus 2 is equal times 180. 8 minus 2 will give you 6. 6 times 180 will give you 1080 degrees. 1080 degrees. So the sum of angles in an octagon is 1080. So when you are given this type of question, the first thing is for you to know the number of sides the plane figure is having. Then you write out the formula for the sum of angles in a polygon, substitute the number of sides there, then do the arithmetic solution of the question. You realize you'll be able to get the value for the sum of angles in the octagon. Now let's look at another question. Calculate the sum of the interior angles of a 15-sided polygon. Calculate the sum of the interior angles of a 15-sided polygon. A polygon has 15 sides. What is the sum of the angles in that polygon? So first of all, you write the equation for the sum of angles in a polygon is for n minus 2 into bracket 180. So now this n is representing 15. Substitute 15 into the equation. So when n is 15, minus 2 into bracket 180. 15 minus 2 will give you 13. 13 times 180 will give you 2340. 2340. Here it means that the sum of angles in the 15-sided polygon is for 2340. Now let's look at another example. So now if you are having this question, the sum of the angles of a polygon is 3060. How many sides does the polygon have? How many sides does the polygon have? You realize that here you are given the sum of the angles of the polygon. You don't know the number of sides the polygon is having. So first of all, let's take this formula for the sum of angles in a polygon. Sum of angles in a polygon is equal to n minus 2 into bracket 180. So you are given the sum of the angles already, which is 3060. Let's substitute into that. So you substitute the value for the sum of the angle to be 3060 is equal to n minus 2 into bracket 180. What we are looking for here is n, the number of the sides of the polygon. So from here you are going to open this bracket. So you are having 3060 is equal to n times 180 will give you 180n minus 2 times 180 will give you 360. So you realize that what this 180 is having n, this is not having n. So let's bring those ones that are not having n together. So this is minus 360. Let's make it to come and join this 3060 here. So this is minus. When negative crosses the equality sign to now turn to what? Plus. So you're having 3060. This minus 360 here will come to this side to now be plus 360 is equal to 180n. 180 is still here. 180n. 3060 plus 360 rather will give you 3420. Should be equal to 180n. So to get n, divide both sides by 180. When you divide both sides by 180, you get what? And so 180 divided by 180 here, it will mean n is equal to 3420 divided by 180 will give you 19 sides. So it means that the plane figure that that have 3060 sum of the angle has 19 sides. So we've been able to look for the number of sides the polygon is having. Let's look at another example. Now, this is another example. The sum of angles of a regular polygon is 2520. A. How many sides does the polygon have? Then B. Find the size of each angle. Size of each angle. Now, first of all, you hear a regular polygon. A regular polygon has all the sides and angle to be equal. All this, when you hear regular polygon, it means all the sides, if it's having 5 sides and 5 angles, so it means the 5 angles are equal, the sides are also equal. When you hear regular, it means the sides and the angles are equal. The sum of angles of a regular polygon is 2520. How many sides does the polygon have? B. Find the size of each angle. So first of all, we are going to look for the number of sides the polygon is having. So the formula for the sum of angles in a polygon is for n minus 2 into bracket 180. We have been given the sum of the angles to be 2520. So you are going to substitute 2520 should be equal to n minus 2 is into bracket 180. So let's open this bracket here. So that means to be having 2520 should be equal to n times 180 will give us 180n minus 2 times 180 will give us 360. Now this 360, you are going to make it to come to this other side to come and join this one, so that the one that is having n will stay here. So when minus is crossing the equality sign, it will turn to plus. So we are having 2520 plus 360 is equal to 180n. So 2520 plus 320 will give you 2880 is equal to 180n. To get n, you divide both sides by the coefficient of n, which is 180. So that 180 divide 180 and remaining n here. So 880 divided by 180 will give you 16 sides. So it means that this particular polygon has 16 sides. Now let's look at the second part of the question, which says find the size of each angle. Find the size of each angle. So it means now if the polygon is having 16 sides, it will have 16 angles. So, and because the question is saying that you are talking of a regular polygon has the size and the sides and the angles to be equal. Now it means that since it is having 16 sides, each of the 16 angles are going to be equal. That means you are having a regular polygon. So that means the angles, each of these 16 angles will be equal. Since it's a regular polygon, it will have 16 sides. If it has 16 sides, that means it's having 16 angles. And if it is having 16 angles, since it's a regular polygon, it means that each of the angles are equal. So that means if one of the angle is x, others also, that means you are going to talking of what? Since it's a regular polygon, each of the angles are equal. Now if it is equal, let us represent each of the equal angle to be x. So that means you are going to, if the equal angle is x, so you are going to be adding x in 16 places. So if the first angle is x, second angle is x, third angle is x, so that means you are adding, you'll be adding each of the angles in x in 16 places. So that means same thing as saying 16 times x. So 16 times x should now be equal to the sum of the angles in the polygon. What we are looking for, don't forget, it is the value of each of the angles of that polygon. And we know that it's a regular polygon, all the angles are equal. Since you are having 16 angles, so that means you have to add that x in 16 places. It means you are going to be adding x in 16 places. Same thing as saying 16 times x should be equal to the sum of the angles in the polygon. Now, to know each value of the angles, you now divide both sides by 16. So 16x is equal to 2520. So to get the value of x, divide both sides by 16. So that means you now have what? So 16 divided by 16 remaining x is equal to, you now have 2520 divided by 16 will give you 157.5. So that means each of the equal angle is what? 157.5 degrees. So now for your class exercise, look at this. For the work practice, number 1, calculate the sum of the interior angles of a polygon with the following number of sides: A, 7 sides, B, 12 sides, C, 18 sides. Number 2, the sum of the interior angles of a polygon of n sides is 900. Find the value of n. The sum of the interior angles of a polygon of n sides is 900. Find the value of n. It means you have to find the number of sides the polygon is having. Number 3, the sum of the angles of a polygon is 1980. How many sides does it have? Then number 4, the sum of the angles of a regular polygon is 1000 620. What is the size of each angle of the polygon? Please ensure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Let's look at the question 5. It says calculate the size of each angle of a regular polygon with the sum of its interior angles 1260. Number 6. Find to the nearest degree the size of each angle of a regular heptagon. Please ensure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Thank you.